Hey everyone, Pastor KP here. Hope everything is all right with you. Welcome to freedoulostv. This is my YouTube channel. We talk about all things related to church, spiritual things, right? Church related. That's what it is. You, for those of you who have subscribed already, thank you very much. My apologies for the fact that I have not been consistent in posting things, but I'm trying to jump back on the horse in terms of the posting. Just hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, all these different things. Share it as well. All right. Thanks in advance. So, as you know, we are dealing with the pandemic. We're dealing with COVID-19. We're dealing with the shots. Can't use the V word. And we're dealing with mandates and what governments are doing. Polarized situation right now. You have Christians, non-Christians, the world. Everybody is commenting about it, the news, big tech. Everybody's involved in the whole process, right? Dealing with it from a church standpoint, from a religious standpoint. So we have a lot of Christians, Adventist Christians, who they're saying some are for it and some believe that, you should just go ahead. Just shut your mouth. Just go get it. Trust the government. A pastor shared something. His name is Ty Gibson, and I'm highlighting him because it's being shared. That's usually how it is, right? Somebody says something, especially when it's pro the shots, and others are pro the shots, so they will take it and they will just push it out there. Prominent Adventists as well. I won't call their names. It was a tweet, by the way. It says here, if we make mountains out of molehills, we lose the credibility to be heard when the real mountains arise, right? If we make every amoral legal mandate a religious liberty issue, nobody's going to listen to us when our actual religious liberty comes under threat. He has Mark 12, verse 17. Hashtag scripture. Mark 12 verse 17 says, Jesus said to them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God. We're going through a very challenging time right now. And, the world is in an uproar. It's in an upheaval. We're not just looking at this. We cannot just look at this strictly from an Adventist standpoint and we're in our little bubble and we're having conversations and debates and arguments with each other, right? And for those of us who engage in it like that, you need to come out of that bubble and start looking in your world, right? So when our brother here is talking about losing credibility and, making mountains out of molehills, I don't think you can just treat this situation like that or just mentioning the situation that we're dealing with like that. Many of us have never seen anything like that. We may hear of the Spanish flu situation, but we weren't there. We were not there, right? It's serious. Yes, the virus is real and it has killed many. And there are solutions out there. However, you are being told just to do one thing and one thing only. No matter what your situation is, you just need to do this one thing, take the shots. And you have shot P, shot M, shot A, shot J, right? And now you have a pill from company M. And the reason why I'm talking like this is simply because, as I said, big tech is censoring things. So it is not normal. It's not a molehill. We're dealing with a whole bunch of mountains right now. People are losing their jobs. Individuals are being fired. They have worked 30 years. Police officers, firefighters, nurses, doctors, government workers, right? It's a very serious situation. Adventists, non-Adventists, or Christians and non-Christians alike. Canada, the United States, England, France, Germany, Australia. We're hearing so much about Australia, these democratic countries where individuals are losing their civil liberties simply because they're not doing what the government says. And when we as Adventists, we're quoting these Bible texts, first of all, we're being hypocrites because we chastise people for using the Bible to say that God is not speaking to these governments based on what they're doing. And yet we're quoting and saying that it's the Spirit of God. When we quote these Bible texts, that in essence, that's what we're saying, right? We're saying that it's the Spirit of God leading Joe Biden, leading Justin Trudeau, leading Boris Johnson and Emmanuel Macron and all these other leaders to do these terrible things. You know, I don't see how God is about taking away people's free will and their choice, the ability to choose in this particular situation. How is that? You know, when children are being forced, when individuals are being coerced, when children are being taught to deceive their parents, well documented. This is not of God, right? We make every moral, amoral, legal mandate a religious liberty. You know, in some countries right now, people cannot get into their buildings. Granted, it hasn't happened in Canada yet, and I don't know if it's happening in the United States. Not at least the government isn't doing it yet, but there are some churches, and in another post, I'll share it, right? Some churches are saying in order for you to get back into these buildings, you need the shots. You can't go into a restaurant, right? Some countries, you can't go into the grocery store. You cannot buy, you cannot sell. You know, how can we just dismiss? And how is it possible that Adventists are applauding? They're applauding governments for doing these things. You know, God set up kings and he'd take them down. And many times we see in scripture where God will say, well, I'm putting this person in charge, and they didn't follow his will, and he's going to deal with them, right? So, you know, I don't want to make this video too long, but I'm not in agreement with this. You know, people are taking this pandemic serious. You know, people are serious about their health. They're exercising, they're taking, and they've always been serious about their health. They go to bed early. Or get their 8 hours in. They drink water, right? They practice eating a certain way and putting certain things in their bodies. They've always been doing this for years. And then suddenly this situation comes along and these governments are saying that you have no right over your body when God is the one that gave us this body. The Canadian government didn't give me my body. Jamaican government didn't give me my body. The US didn't give me this body. God did. And I'm not, what should I say? It's not about me not loving my neighbor and all these different things, you know. You know, we're demonizing people. And like I said, Adventists demonizing people. So when I see prominent Adventists sharing these quotes and quoting scripture, I'm like, wow. You know, so we're totally going to ignore that people are being brutalized, right? Individuals are committing suicide in this current situation. Yes, take measures in order to protect people, but what I think our governments now, and we are fooling ourselves if we believe it's not the case. The governments now are going beyond health and safety because some of the things that they're doing and some of the tricks and the tactics that they're pulling and the deception that they're engaging in, you know, I can tell you in Canada, they're knocking on people's doors. You know, you need to do this, you need to do this, or else. That's what they're doing. History tells us about these things, and it was not a good time. And people don't want to even have those conversations and pretend like, no, that's not the case, that's not the case. But I'm speaking specifically to Seventh-day Adventist Christians, right? and our approach to this situation here, right? Yes, I agree that we shouldn't take this to a place, where it doesn't need to go. But at the same time, we cannot dismiss the fact that these governments are doing things that God is not asking them to do, is not telling them to do. And we have to call them out on it, right? So I'm guessing based on this quote here, when it's time for their Sunday law, I said people are looking for the Sunday law. That's what they're looking. And anything that is not that, then, we shouldn't say anything. Just shut our mouth, or they might persecute us, or they might ridicule us, right? When our actual religious liberty comes, or is it, nobody's going to listen when our actual religious liberty comes under threat. Don't agree. So, you're gonna see this quote. I'll try and put it in the description box if I can, but you'll see it online if you are in the same circles I am. But just wanted to say something on it. That's it. Don't want to make this video too long. Take care of yourself, all right? Pastor P here. Only what you do for Christ will last. Stay blessed.